I'm very happy to have Seema here today. And before I start, I'd like all of you to again applaud her and her troupe for that wonderful performance. Let's give her a big hand.
Thank you so much.
Seema, my questions for you today are very interestingly based on the performance and the story of your life. And I'm always interested in beginnings. So let me ask a question about beginnings. Tell us a little bit about your early life, your childhood, your education, and your initiation into the world of art.
Childhood was as normal as I think as any child would have it. There was a lot of love and play, and of course I was introduced to colors at a very, very young age, considering I was a total introvert, and I'm very surprised at myself. Actually, over the past 10, 12 years, there's been a major change and a major shift in me, and I think that is only because of the fact that art has given me so much back. But it started as, like with any child would happen, I think, the mystery of a small dot converting into a line, and the line taking a shape of a form, and that form gaining some movement, and that I think is the most mysterious thing which happens, I think, for any artist, and that is the excitement which goes on and the affair which keeps you on forever as an artist. So the mystery continues, and I still get very fascinated putting the first dot onto my canvas or onto the paper and moving it further. I very, very categorically think that it was a lot to do with my parents and my environment to give me what I am today, because it was they who realized that I needed it, and they also gave me the content to work on. They gave me the environment in which I could sort of sit down and be a dreamer and conceptualize all that I was hearing, because it was a very spiritual environment, and there were a lot of stories, a lot of mythical stories from different faiths. So that's it. That's what my childhood was about.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned spirituality because at 19, I've heard that you were ordained into a spiritual order, and you probably would have had a very different life if that had continued.
I wanted to, but I'm very happy that the way the path keeps changing, I think it just adds to your experience. And I did have, I think initiation happens, it is more of a sort of solidification or entitlement of a certain thing. But of course, initiation I think happened much more earlier, before moving out of my house. That was the best place to be initiated in, and that was true.
What contributed to your attraction to spirituality, and then what later contributed to your decision not to go along the path to become,
it was what, sorry, what...
what attracted you to spirituality initially? And
they were the whole environment was so charged. Like my grandfather himself was a very I don't know if I should use enlightened man, but he was a very spiritual person, and he used to believe in various faiths, and we used to have people from various faiths coming to our house and discussing various faiths, like people from Sikhism, Islam, of course Hinduism, because we are Hindus, that was there, but being a Hindu meant that we had a very, very large heart, and we could sort of take in and try to understand various, but by that I don't mean that the other religions were not as open. I think they were extremely, at that time, I think in 60s, 70s, and early 80s was a beautiful time when everything was much, much more open, and we were able to discuss, talk, and not consider who and what we were and where we belonged. We wanted to understand. So that's what was very interesting. And the fact that I wanted to move out, because I thought that maybe I would be able to concentrate more on the spiritual aspect if I move into an order, and renunciation is the way. But I realized to live within the norms and within the society, because we are the people who make the place where we are living, or the society that we call. It was much more important to be here and to understand what we are, and test myself that am I that liberal in my mind, or is it just that we talk? It is very important to understand that.
You know, Seema in her work has explored different facets of religion. You've painted Kali, you've painted Shiva, Christ, Krishna. So is religion an important part of your life, and is art a way to express that?
I don't think religion is important, very important. For me, from where does religion come? Faith, then belief in that faith, and then movement is somewhere becomes religion, where you, I don't know if I can use the word, it is more of a political space, religion. But for me, myths are very important. Myths are very important, they are my tools to understand religions, various religions, not only Shiva and Kali and Krishna, but there are other religions. I've studied Greek philosophy, mythology, and they also have extremely, you go through anything, any religion, they have their own stories, and they are the tools to understand a religion. So they become very important for me. And that's what I try to express.
You know, during the performance, Seema said that when she started painting, she would paint on herself,
Yes.
on her clothes, on the walls. So, what kind of an experience is it to paint on yourself? Is it an especially tactile
It is not,
experience?
I don't think you plan to do it. I think most of the artists very, subconsciously, I think you keep moving on because you just can't stop. And when you're young, you don't sort of discipline yourself to just paint on paper. And I think it has to happen. It is like a biological urgency, so you do it, and that's what was the thing. And I still remember one day I was just sitting and I was doing something with the pen on my face, and my mother was horrified, and she said, "What have you done to yourself?" And in fact, in one of my performances called Ouroboros, I did paint my face again like I would do as a child. So it was a great going back. So I think whatever we are, it starts very young, and it sort of moves on to the later stages. Yes.
You know, in your artwork, you're especially recognized for the golden womb, yeah, which is sort of like the leitmotif of your work, the center of your artistic vision. Tell us a little bit about this representation and why you chose it, how it first came to you.
I'd always been working with the theme of energy. I don't know since when. Like that, the fact that we are breathing. That was the most interesting thing, and I wanted to explore that, and I wanted to express that. And the only language I knew was drawing and painting. And much later, it was somewhere around the time my mother left a physical body, and we are Arya Samaji, that parivar. So we have a havan in the house, which is very, very normal kind of a thing, and we've been having it all the time. But there was one mantra which sort of took me over, and the priest explained that mantra. So he was explaining that to everyone, but it was about Hiranyagarbha, and it talked about the fact that there is one energy, one unified energy, through which the whole world is being recycled, and which is so positive, without which nothing can happen and nothing can die, because that energy is there. it sort of really fascinated me, and the fact that that energy holds various seas and moons and suns and stars in its lap, and which is constantly being regenerated. You can just imagine how vast it can get if you start imagining it, and it can almost take you to another, world, and that was very fascinating. So I wanted to express that. I started expressing that, and that, according to the Hindu scriptures, that energy is Surya. And somewhere down the line, we see Surya as a male form. But when we talk of a male form having a womb, that's what brought me into a question. And I said, that's so beautiful that everything has got a balance. It is a unified force. Everything is male and female. There's nothing in this world, even if we are calling Surya a he has a womb and he is creating. So I started celebrating the feminine aspect of that Surya that we call Hiranyagarbha. So this is how Hiranyagarbha took, but I think I'm still caught up in that Garbh. Every time anything happens, like this conversation that we are having, that is also because anything new is being created. It does not have to be physical, biological. That is not the idea. The idea is that anything new, wherever it is being created, that is the womb. So we are constantly in that state of creation. We cannot get out of it. And so all my works somewhere get connected to the golden womb.
If you've noticed Seema Kohli's work closely, you'll see that the umbilical cord of the golden womb is always the stem of a lotus. Was that a deliberate choice, and would you tell us why you chose the stem?
There's stories, there are too many stories because everything becomes a story for me. Now, the lotus, of course, has got a lot of mythological and a lot of scriptural value and everything, but for me it was an experience because we had a small farm and a little pond over there which was dug out. It was not cemented stuff like this, and we had lotuses there, and it dried up because of too much of the summer heat in Delhi. And after 2 months or something, I realized that the gardener had not taken any care, and the lotus plant had died, except for the, their buds, the roots, whatever is there, which was left. And I thought it's such a waste, and they were so beautiful, and I was really sad. After then the rains came, and when I went back again, the leaves had come back, and after the next visit, the lotuses were there. So that's really fascinated me that, see, it's not dead, nothing is dead, and the umbilical cord was there and it carried on. And that's why it became a very, very important. From that time onwards, I started having lotuses, and it's grown now to the extent of madness. I think I have them all everywhere.
You did your first solo show in '98, right?
Yeah.
98. And Seema Kohli is a self-taught artist. Did you ever think that made the journey more difficult for you, not having some kind of a...
it was a choice, and I think every artist is self-taught, whether they have to go to, you go to institute or not, but you are self-taught. But yes, I did not go to a formal fine arts college, but I did do graphics. And at that time, graphics was much, much more different than what it is now. I see my son and I get surprised with all the different kind of things that they're doing. But at that time, I did in 81, 82. And after that, I was on my own. I was trying to find out my own path, and I chose to be like this because it was much more interesting. I could experiment, I could keep doing my own things, but I chose not to have any solo show till the time I became very comfortable with what I was showing. So it was only in 98 that I had my first.
Do you have any special memories or stories of that first solo show that you'd like to tell us about?
No, I don't think there were any. I think it was a lot of excitement, of course. I don't think I was nervous at that time. Because that was the first time I was uh, putting my language across, and I, of course, wanted to understand how is it understood. Because the moment as an artist I'm putting my work across, like over here, the communication, it is for communication. It is, the purpose is communication. It is not that, of course, till the time it is in my studio and I'm creating it, the purpose is only for myself. But the moment I'm putting it out, I did want to know how people are connecting with it. And I wanted to be, I was more interested in their interpretation than in telling my own story, because I think my story is already on the canvas, or as a poetry, or as a performance. It is when I hear their story, then the communication gets complete.
You know, as a self-taught artist, who did you go to for guidance? For instance, who would you show your works of art? Who would you get criticism from? Who would give you direction? Did you have a circle of trusted friends or mentors that you would show your work to? And
See, I don't know, I didn't want that. That's the reason. I believe in myself and I do things my own way. So, but I did go to Triveni for 10 years. It was a very good experience that I went after 98. No, 96 I went to Triveni, and it was a very great experience to be there for 5-6 years. Yeah, it was 2003 I left. Yeah.
we were having this conversation yesterday, Seema and I, about her works where you have fish without fins and trees where the roots are strong.
That was because as a kid I would always get, I wouldn't get a good this thing. My report, even as an artist, was not good. Leave aside the other things. So they were even worse. So, but I was very sure that this is what I want to do, and I continue doing it till date. And I do, even today, the fish are without fins. Today the birds are the same as I used to have. So it's more for myself. Yes.
In your works, I've noticed that you've depicted gods as mortals, and in a way, mortals are sometimes heroic in their actions. Have you realized that yourself, or all of us?
Yeah, because I feel that it is, we have to humanize everything. It is, and or rise up to their levels. So I have flying images. Of course, we cannot fly. So, but it is all about a symbolic representation. It is very, very symbolic. It has got nothing to do with the fact that how it should be, because I don't think I like to preach, or I would not, because that's a statement that I'm doing and I'm making.
I was reading one description of Seema Kohli, and I wanted to share that with you, and I want to get her reaction on that. And this description, written by somebody who's obviously an expert at art, said that Seema Kohli's work has been acclaimed for the brilliance of the colors and for her outstanding brushwork, intricate, profound, and expertly crafted. And my question to you is, as an artist, when you read, let's say, an expert or a critic write about your work, are they getting the pulse of the artist, or are they going off or completely on a tangent, and you look at what's written about you and say, hey, that's not me?
There are times when you don't understand, but then I think it's perfectly fine. Everyone is free to interpret it in the way, and that's why I think I chose to be an artist, because I had the I was able to give myself that freedom, and I think till the time I'm able to give that freedom to another person, I don't think the purpose to be an artist is solved.
Some artists don't like to talk about the meaning of their work. If a reporter, somebody from the press says, tell us what this painting is about, then they say, you have to figure that out for yourself.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's fine.
Where do you stand? Do people come up to you and say, what does this painting stand for?
There are times when I like, at times like this, I'm explaining myself, but there would be times when I would just say, why don't you give me your interpretation? I would like to hear what you say, because my language is art. wanted to express it, because art, any kind of a creative expression is an expression. We say it is a language. So we have already said it. So I don't know how far we can go on explaining. I don't think it makes sense to it.
You've explored many different mediums. You probably started off with canvas, then you did sculpture, you've done installations, you've done performances like the one we just saw
This
today.
was a very different performance. It is not the performance.
You haven't done it too often, something like
no,
this?
No. This is totally, this is more of a poetry recitation of my own writings, which later wanted to find another dimension. So the movement, Himani's group was there, and then later I wanted music. So it keeps, I think it keeps expanding, and I let it expand. Like from paper it moved to canvas, from canvas it moved to bronze, and from bronze it moved to an installation in different mediums. From that it moved to spontaneous performances, and this is totally a different dimension, of course.
Is the creative process any different for these different mediums? Canvas, sculpture, installations, performances?
No, for me it is not, because my concept remains the same. You know, like I choose elements from my drawings which I convert into sculptures. From sculptures they move to a different dimension, but I think in line, that is true. And I don't think, as long as my concept doesn't change, I don't need to change much in it. It's a comfortable kind of a movement.
Your work has especially been praised for...
A long list of questions.
You're not in Bangalore very often, and I don't see anybody walking away. So I'm going to ask you one more question, and then do we have time for audience questions, Leena? Is that part of the plan?
I think now that
everybody wants
one more performance.
Oh,
Let's do it right away then. We'll walk on water again. Okay, I have one last question for you. Your work has been praised for celebrating the themes of beauty, sensuality, and spirituality. Tell us a little bit about your take on this.
you are asking, you could be very clear about it, Sumeet. What are you asking?
You've been praised. Your work has been acclaimed for exploring certain themes
of
and
sensuality,
beauty, sensuality, and spirituality. Is this something that I wanted to get your comment on that first? What is whether you agree with that?
Yeah, of course I agree with that, because for me, I believe that, as I said here also in my work, that desire is the most important thing. Without desire, the Brahman did not explore Maya. And with Maya around there, how can you be without desire? She created desire. We are all sort of a little part of that desire. And without desire, you can't even desire immortality. You can't even desire of anything like of higher knowledge, anything. So you have to start from the base. I personally feel that everything starts from that space which is tamas, and that it keeps rising. And we can go on talking about it. I think that is a very vast subject.
No, but I'm glad I asked you that question. And before I end, may I tell you that yesterday at the India Inclusion Summit, Seema Kohli wowed an audience of over 500 people. She spoke about her life and her art, and at the end of her talk, there was a gasp for a minute, and then the audience broke into thunderous applause. Thank you so much for being here at the NGMA today. Thank you to your dance troupe. Ladies and gentlemen, Seema Kohli, please give her a big round of applause.
Thanks, thank you. Thank you, Sumeet. Thank God your questions are over. Okay.
Can I have your name?
My name is Himani, and I'm the director and founder for Stance Dance Studio.
Okay. So what I wanted to know is, for how long do you know Seema ji, and how has it been with you?
I know Seema now for almost from 2008, 2007. And I started working with her while we were working on her first project, Swayam Siddha.
Okay.
And we just started. I got a brief from her and what her paintings were about, and she was very clear that the movement needs to be in sync and in line with her work. So that's how I started working with her. I sat with her. I've sat with her for hours and just heard about her work and then tried to create. And the first time I ever worked with her, I remember that because we could not meet constantly because she was busy with her work and I was busy with mine. So what I used to do, I used to shoot movement on her particular phrase or whatever brief she's given me. I would shoot it, create something, then send it to her. And then she would come back with a brief on that this is perfect, this is what I had in mind. But something that Seema was always very clear was that she needs that raw energy that is there in her paintings, which made me very interested to work with her. Because,
And besides being an artist, because as a performing dancer, as an artist, you are also in the arts, in the field. You also explore similar energies. So, besides the artistic connection, what else did you draw from her? Has she inspired you in any way?
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, she's inspired me amazingly. The last time when we were working with her as a bigger group with my other dancers. And when she sat and she shared this whole story with us, I am. It was like sometimes you just feel that your own story as a young artist is being reflected, and you see that when you see someone who has gone through that journey and reached somewhere, and you think, okay, I am still young, so you should keep dreaming. You know, like she says, I dreamed and I dreamed and I dreamed, and because I think somewhere when you're an artist and you're a creative person, you sometimes just feel, you get tired and you feel that am I actually made for this or am I just going in the dark? And then when you're working with another artist like her, who's so genuine and so down to earth, you just feel that, you can just have faith and carry on. And I love her. She's so humble and she's so relatable. The first time I thought that I have to work with a painter, and being honest, I was much younger, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be like someone who's going to talk to me in a language I'm not going to understand. But with Seema, it's like, she'll sit and she'll, even being so established, she'll always ask you that this is what I'm thinking, what do you think about it? So you just learn to be, that okay, even when you achieve, you just draw on that.
Right.
Don't just get lost in all the...
What you get. Yeah. Wow. Very nice.
My name is Dimple Shah.
Dimple Shah. Okay. You're an artist?
Yeah, I'm an artist, performance artist, and printmaker and painter.
Okay. How do you like Seema Ji's work?
It's very, very poetic in a way, and it is a it's a combination of dance and a performance. So it's not very, very much performance art, but I can say performing art.
Okay.
Because it involves more theatrical things, very, very experimental, dance movements and all.
Right.
So, and poetic performative, I can say.
As a woman, how did you appreciate her work? Can you relate to what she was talking about?
Yes, I could relate it because in my earlier time, like during my studies, I used to work with basic nature and philosophies of Shiva, Shakti, and all those forms. So I think most of the Indian artists, they could connect very well.
Okay.
And especially female could connect very well because it's a very basic of our
Instinct.
Instinct and our bringing up. Because most of the Hindus, they have these philosophies,
Okay.
My name is Chetan.
Chintan?
Chetan.
Chetan.
Chetan. J.
Chetan.
Yeah, Chetan.
Okay. Can you tell me about what you do?
I'm a visual artist. I do performance art also, installations, and then I work on community art. Like I have my projects running in Kashmir and in Orissa also.
Okay.
There I work with conflict. I work basically in conflict zone
Okay.
with orphan kids, and then try to do something with art where they feel that art is not important.
Okay. How did you like today's performance?
Frankly, it was more of Sufi poetry to me. It's a frank opinion. I don't know about others, but for me, it was more of Sufi. I could relate to that. The dance movements and the way she was moving around. It was more of Rumi or Sufi, something like that. I could relate to that.
And as a man, how did you perceive the performance?
For me, it was easy because I actually liked the concept of what she was talking about sun
Okay.
having a womb and
Okay.
things like that. It was quite interesting because energy is not male and female for me. It's just basic energy.
Okay.
That's what I believe in. So it is really nice to see that perspective, and I took it quite easily. It's good.
Did you watch the entire show?
Yeah, I did. I came here and watched the whole.
Yeah. How did you like it?
I think it was really interesting. It was something different I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And you don't see this kind of stuff a lot in India, at least. Maybe in other countries, I don't know. But it was a different experience.
Like the performance poetry with the
Yeah,
movement
yeah.
and the music.
Everything combined.
Yeah. Have you followed her art before?
No, not really. I haven't been following.
Okay. And as a man, when you were going through a narrative, a monologue,
Yeah.
did it elicit any emotions or any feelings?
What do you mean?
Did you think? Do you think it was very female centric, her narrative?
Yeah, kind of, but what she was talking about, it kind of made sense. And I agreed to it at a certain point, but then you always have disagreements.
What is it that you agree to?
Nothing, her whole idea of how her journey and how she's come and reached this stage in life, of her whole process, basically. So that was really interesting. It might be, woman-centric, but I don't think that's true also. It's I think she's found a balance,
Okay.
It's not very biased or anything.
It's just primordial.
Yeah. But whatever she has, I think it's very, it's from inside, it's from her heart. And I think she conveys that really well in her show, in her performance. And even her artworks that I've looked at a lot of her artworks, her paintings and stuff. So, yeah.
Super. Thank you.
Yes,
Can I have your name, please? And
Matthew.
Can you please be a little loud?
Matthew.
Okay, great. So, have you seen the performance today?
Yes, I was in the evening here.
So, how did you like it?
It's interesting, and it complements what Seema Kohli has to the poetry she had recited,
Okay.
and many of those gestures, poses were going to describing a story.
Right.
Maybe also helping to bring her paintings,
Right.
give
Life to
her paintings. Because the paintings were being shown in the background.
Right, right. So, as a man, when you were listening to her narrative about being a woman and how a man, a male energy is also has a womb somewhere, like the sun has a womb. So, what came to your head when you were watching that or hearing that? As a man, do you think you were connecting as a man or as a human or as to her performance?
Very interesting. This whole creation is what Seema Kohli had given her perspective was it's not belonging to women alone. It's creation is something beyond all this. It's like a cosmic energy, and everybody has that potential to create. And we human beings are labeling it with so woman or it has to be feminine aspect to it. But actually, creation is good ideas able to come forward.
Right. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Can I have your name, please?
Yeah, I'm Sheila Kaur. I'm based in Bangalore. And I have attended so many artists and their previews. But Seema Kohli's today's presentation was very different in the sense, first she gave a beautiful poetry kind of one description about what she feels, all that. And I could connect with her because she said, my story might be your story also. That was quite touching. And many things which she said, it was thought-provoking and it was awesome. And she put it in a very simple but very beautiful way. And I was thinking, my God, how well put it. And the dancers, they so beautifully synchronized with her talk and the paintings behind all that. It was like a fluid poetry kind of. Dancers and the musician. That musician and the dancers, they played a huge role in the whole thing. And because of that black color theme, there were water background. It was a beautiful evening. And when even the interview, the way she put it, her childhood, all that, it was interesting. I have met a lot of artists, past around 5 years plus, but this presentation was so different and memorable. I'll definitely keep this in my mind to cherish for a long time. And she is a very sensitive person. We all are leading the same life, but many things which we don't, her childhood, how she got into painting her face, all that, she put it so beautifully. And I'm wishing her all the very best, and thanks for the lovely time.
Great. Thank you.